Okay. Just post this in. There we go. Now, okay, I'm ready now. Are you ready? Are you ready, Jacko?
Of course.
Yes. Villanova actually shot us a follow yesterday as well as Game of Jobs. That's an interesting
Game
name.
of Jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him.
Do
He's
you
a former
actually?
commentator himself, yeah.
Oh. Well, I'll be. Well, thank you to those
Hopefully
two.
he joins us in the chat.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Well, thank you to those two fine gentlemen, or I'm not sure. I don't know. I know. Whatever. Thank you guys. Or girls. See, I just tried to do my whatever. Okay, Thursday night, Friday afternoon, or in the morning. Morning if you're in Australia. Here, we're in Hungary. We, as in the Midwest F1 League Division 1. Hello, once again, I'm Crash McQueen, and I am joined, as usual, by my co-host here, El Majacko, or Jacko for short. How you doing today there, Jacko?
I'm doing absolutely fantastically. How are you, Crash?
Not too bad. It's Canada Day, as I kind of mentioned a little earlier, a little bit of a dreary Canada Day to go in the history books, but Canada Day is still, so a day off for me is very much needed from the amount of work that I've been doing lately. So, very looking forward to this race here in Hungary. Now, what's your take on Hungary? Obviously, a technical circuit. Do you think we're actually going to see a decent bit of passing in comparison to what Hungary usually is, or are we going to see more of a technical pit stop battle here?
Well, firstly, this is absolutely one of my favourite tracks. Has been for years. And with regard to passing, I'd say it's more likely we're going to see passing than in real life around here.
Yeah.
Often referred to as Monaco without the walls. But there are passing opportunities you can create, especially in online racing. The DRS straight on the main straight is the obvious point into turn 1. But then again, if you're on a softer or a fresher set of tyres, there are many spots you can overtake around here. Even into the chicane is possible, depending on the difference in tyre life. Deployment of ERS obviously can be used tactically. You may see different strategies. That's a good point. Whether it's a 1 or a 2 stop, we'll have to find out what these guys think. But in the past, even in a 50% race, I think it was F1 2013, a 5 stop won the race. So it's one of those tracks where degradation is a bit higher than other tracks. 35 laps as well, so quite a lot of leaning on the tyre around this track.
So now Scavney has given us a little bit of insight here. It is a full dry day today here in Hungary, in Budapest to be exact. So really looking forward to it here. Won't we? You know what? I was actually thinking about this. We during the broadcast of Formula One and qualifying, they usually have one of the commentators kind of go on board with one of the drivers for the entire lap and to explain what happens and what lines to take throughout the circuit. You get what I'm saying there, Jacko?
Absolutely know what you're saying.
Yeah, won't you do that here? Who's the next one over the line here? Is that Super Ninas? I believe that is, if you want to get on board with him.
Look at Super Ninas.
Won't you take it away for the entire lap there?
Okay, the Haas is rounding the final turn, opens the DRS, and across the line he comes to start his first hot lap. Now Super Ninas is of course in that battle for relegation. He is just on the safe side of the bubble for now, but we'll see if he can qualify well. And through the first turn he comes with a bit of a sideways exit, opens the DRS, and I don't think he lost too much time from that mistake. Very wide in turn 2, has to shift down to second gear, probably didn't want to shift down that many gears, but recovers it. Does hit the apex a bit early actually, but through the first sector split, not purple on Scavney's time, and a bit sideways once again through turn 4. Not a place you want to be losing the rear. But again, stays on track, and it's a valid lap at least, there is that. Across the chicane, very close to going off on the exit of the second part, and I am surprised this is valid. Over the curbs he goes completely. Not necessarily the best line to take through there. 6th gear through the flying sweeper, the last sweeper on the track. Third last corner safely through there in 3rd gear. Shifts up to 6 before braking for the penultimate corner down to 2nd, as I would have done. Misses the concrete on the inside because that's very dangerous and can be spun on. 4th gear already out of ERS though, and opens the DRS across the line into 10th place. Not the greatest banker there, but at least it is valid.
Yeah, very good point. It was kind of a weird one, the amount of times that he got right on the edge of going invalid and then still not able to using that to get him time back. But quickly we see Maomir into the front row here through the first half of the grid that's have set a time. JC Blackley as well, with not as quick of a banker that he would like. As you mentioned, I don't think we did mention, Kenny and Enrique are in relegation, and without racing in this race are going to find themselves confirming their relegation down to Div 2 for next season. So if those two drivers come back for next week, it'll somewhat be a farewell race for them. But still, the third and final position for relegation is very much in the fight. It's it's a scrap. We can kind of leave it at that, as JC Blackley is kind of on the outskirts looking in. But we got Nicky and, as you said, Supri Ninas are the drivers who are truly involved in that scrap. Only separated. I just had it here.
I think it was by 4 points.
Yeah, only separated by 4 points, and then JC Blackley is clear by 19. So any sort of DNF to JC Blackley or a very poor finish in comparison to Nicky or Super Ninas could really see him in a tough spot as well. So safe right now, but still something can happen. Anything can happen, really. Mr. Joker, as I believe you said in the interviews last week, has locked up the Drivers' Championship. So congratulations to the Williams driver. He's going to get his first championship win in Midwest F1 League. Still, you have the all-time lead with 2. If you can call that. It is an all-time championship lead in Midwest F1 League. You have 2 championships. I mean, and then do Constructors Championship count on top of that, or no? It's just Drivers
Well, we
Championship.
have to find out exactly what counts, Crash, because which 2 are you counting? I thought I had 4.
What 4? Oh, because you did. What other one did you have? Because you had
Division 2 Season 1.
Yeah, Formula 2.
Division 1 Season 2.
Yeah.
Formula 2 Season 2. And Friday.
Oh, you won the Friday Night Madness?
Yeah. I think so, at least. Stat never did the points, but...
Yeah, okay, well, I mean, I could say that I won that one then. Stat says he's even holding him on ransom right now.
I wouldn't count constructors, I would only count individuals.
Yeah, drivers.
I don't know how you want to do that.
Okay, so...
Anyway...
Minimal 3 potentially...
action on track,
yeah, minimal 3 potentially... Oh, Matt Rosie!
And Matt Rosie just shattered it completely with a 13.4, which is a full second up on P2 at the moment. We're yet to see Mystic Joker's potential, but of course the now champion, reigning champion, yet to set a lap. So I imagine he either hasn't gone out, or wasn't happy with his lap, or invalidated. I hadn't actually seen that, but we have 4 drivers yet to set a lap time, including his brother Swee in the Renault Dasset G2, who I'm yet to see race, I believe, who is substituting for Random Series this week, and ZGS, or ZGS, depending on where you're from.
What part of the
in
world?
The McLaren, who's replacing Enrique, who unfortunately, along with Kenny, unable to save themselves from relegation, as Crash mentioned a few minutes ago. And that's really disappointing, because talking of champions, Kenny is the Season 1 champion, and to see him drop into Division 2 is quite shocking, to me at least.
Yeah, it just wasn't his season this year. I think, but I was kind of mentioning off the broadcast of how tight the midfield is here, and even the relegation zone. I think Nicky can be better than fighting for relegation, but things haven't gone his way this year, and he finds himself back down there and fighting for each point that he can possibly get, and it just can go any way. It makes you wonder
how key that Russia race was, where he kept disconnecting. Where would he have figured in that race? Would he have scored, enough points to keep himself safe?
Yeah, good point.
Then again, Super Ninas has a certain number of races where he could say something similar if something hadn't happened to him. So it's the same for everyone, I guess, in that regard, unless you've had a really clean season, which I don't think anyone other than Mystic has had.
Yeah, everyone's kind of been dealing with something here. I was going to make a point there, but I forgot. Oh, quickly
Oh
though,
no.
while it's still in my head, this is kind of separate to it. Scavney, actually two things here. Not the original one I was going for, but okay, quickly. Scavney is looking absolutely brilliant right now. Right now sitting P2. He's as I said, the better version of Pork Chops, and by that I mean he usually qualifies in the second back half of the grid, and then works his way through the field for a hardest charger here. I didn't even know that he had a qualifying pace like this in him, but maybe Hungary brings out a different beast as well. Matt Rossi did hint to us last week that he feels extremely strong in Hungary, and he is absolutely proving it right now by still holding pole by 7/10.
Yeah, and in
quickly
fact, Matt Rossi, I knew this coming into this race that he was strong around here because I did compete in a league with him, which is now defunct. And this was the track he got pole position on, and it really surprised me because it was the first time I'd raced him, and that was in the wet. So we'll see, but it looks like he has it under control in the wet and in the dry.
So Scavney just says, "I'm not sure how I feel about that statement." That's of course me saying that he's the better version of Pork Chops.
Well, there's a lot of similarities between Scavney and Pork Chops. They both even own a league, actually, so
Yeah.
that is quite the similarity. And both leagues, obviously, I'd say probably the premier leagues that we have available to us, certainly based in North America.
There we go. So Mystic Joker's going to come around to start his first attempt at a qualifying time here. He's only left himself with half the amount of time, and he's actually come out for the mediums here.
Yeah.
So
he should get a set of softs available to him at the end because this is a short lap time compared to many tracks. But yeah, on the mediums, is this a championship wrapped up, starting to have fun with what he can do on track, sort of a run? Because I wouldn't imagine these tyres have enough in them to get him pole, but he may start, second row with these, depending on his outright pace.
Yeah, so 2, 4, 6.
Very clean through the chicane.
So he has 8 wins this year. 2, 4, 6, 8. So he's still fighting for most wins in a season by one driver.
Oh yes, equal with
6,
Honda,
8.
I believe.
Yes, right now exactly equal with Honda. So we'll see what that. I'm not sure if that's in his mind right now, but that's still something to battle for. You may have that locked up, but it's nice to get your name on the history books here. It actually goes into 8. That's a very nice little time there, sitting at 1.3 seconds off of fastest lap for Q1.
So you'd imagine he's going to come back in and grab some softs. I don't think he'd want to start that far back. I'd say he probably would have been fine with it if he was third row or higher. But yeah, if that was me, I wouldn't be too happy with that.
Now, still being on, you say third row or higher, but he is on the fourth row on the inside line, if I'm correct.
Yeah, but he's on the fourth row for now. Like, people can improve.
True.
A lot of people are actually quite close to that time below him, both Red Bulls, for example. So, and here we got the teammate, also on mediums, the two Williams, the highest two on the mediums, 12th place for Fred. Fred Head? Yeah, Fred Head.
Yeah.
So he's replacing Kenny. This is his debut, I believe, in MidWest. Has he raced in Division 2 or something like that?
Fred Head? No, I'm not sure. You know what? Here we go. Monkey Mafia, actually, the brilliant man he is. I'll say brilliant, but would you call him Dacit G or Dace TG?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how he prefers it to be pronounced, but I said Dacit.
Yeah, Dacit G.
Be Dace.
Yeah, Dace. Yeah, Monkey Mafia says good pace. It was brought in by Will Ans, if that does anything.
Okay.
And Fred Head was brought in by Mystic. So that's all he gave me. So we'll see how that goes. And both of those drivers have set their times on mediums and are only separated by 1/100th of a second right now, or 1/10th of a second.
Well, Mystic did mention to me that he'd be trying to bring in some quick guys from another of his leagues.
Uh-oh.
He said mainly for 2021, so maybe
there goes the neighborhood.
Maybe we have to keep an eye on this dude, especially given he's only 3/10 off on the same compound as Mystic.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll have to see. It's It's okay. Bacon's confirming it's Dace.
Dace, okay.
Dace.
Thank you,
Dace
Bacon.
TG. Okay.
Yeah, but he's typed that. How can we?
No, he didn't put Dace. He didn't put TG. He just put Dace.
Dace.
Yeah, he says it's
Or
Dace.
Dace.
Oh, Dace. Yeah. Yeah. That's, I could do it. Dace. It was like kind of like it's like Dory when she's in the submarine. It's like, oh, escape. Yeah. Dace.
And that's exactly what Nicky is trying to do. He's trying to escape from the relegation zone. He's
Oh,
2 places in
there
front.
we go.
Of
What a
Super Ninas
lovely
in
bridge there.
qualifying. Thank you. The segue was perfect.
Yeah, as well, Super Ninas is sitting ahead of JC Blackley. So, but JC has
true.
put his quickest time on the medium, so still in the pit. I'll have one more chance. We saw Yomir just jump up into 7th place there. Quality from him. He's found himself on the podium a couple times this year, looking to go again. I just still have to give a solid shout out to Maomir, man. From it, the difference between season 2 and season 3 on him is midfield to championship dark horse. Honestly, he's
Yeah, I mean, Mayhem, absolutely. I think he joined right at the end of season 1, and I remember thinking this guy is pretty decent if he can just, put it together. He had it together at Austria straight away, but then the other tracks weren't quite there. Now he's got that. And, it's working really well for him.
Yeah, he's just now he's just got consistent quality at each track, and he's like, and there's been a couple times where he's hunted down about a 15-second gap with like 3 laps to go or whatever. So he's had some exciting moments as well through this. One definitely being
Last
at
lap
Russia.
Mayo.
Yeah, last lap May. There you go, Mayo bot.
So we've got an interesting situation brewing here with a lot of cars coming out of the pits at the same time with 2 minutes to go. If we see people slowing down to let people through and find a gap, we may see some people not be able to start their lap, and that includes both Williams, who are both out on the soft compound tyre, and I expect to see them challenge maybe for pole, maybe with the top 6, both of them, I'd say.
So importantly, I'm on with C. Barry right now. Currently, he's up on his initial fastest lap here. He's looking really good here through Sector 2, and yeah, he takes another 10th away. If he were to have a decent Sector 3, he's gonna knock Mystic out of the top 10. So we'll have to see how it goes, but I think he had Helg behind him. Now we're gonna have to start ripping through all these guys'
This could
times
be P9
here.
for C. Barry.
Yes.
P9.
There's that JC Blackley, Hash, Fred, Mystic, Impossible. No.
Mystic starts his lap right now. I'm going to stay on board and see how he goes.
Sui jumps up a position. Kate coming over the line. He actually improves back up into 9th, moving Mystic down another position. Who's that? Hash
Mystic's
starts
looking
his.
very smooth. Even puts the left wheel on the concrete through turn 2, and doesn't get any hint of sideways action, so he's got a very balanced rear at the moment. And I would imagine this is going to be... Oh, he actually gets a bit sideways through turn 4 as I say that.
Matt Rosie improves his
goes,
time.
Yeah, even faster. Tiach is on a slow down lap, so he won't be improving. Through the chicane, quite cleanly, missed the first apex by a very small amount there from Mystic. And again, just wide of the curb through that left-hander, but now he seems to have gathered it back up through these remaining sweepers. And is he up? He's 0.6 up. That's not going to be enough. That's actually probably going to see him on the 2nd row, unless his last sector is absolutely fantastic, or a massive improvement at least on his previous best.
Helg over the line into 8th. We're going to start seeing a lot of times come in here.
Here comes Mystic around the final corner. DRS is open. Where does he go? P2. 4/10 shy. And in fact,
Jinnit beats him out. Yeah.
Jumps him back into the front row slot. Still 2/10 off Matt Rosie though.
Hash next over the line for a time here. Followed by Smith Pell.
Mayo is down on his time. Scavney has taken the checkered flag, as has Hash, who just jumps him into P5. Tiach is off throttle, rolling into the pits. Cake Thomas is well down on his time. Up goes to 8th from Fredhead.
Fredhead,
So
yeah,
Williams
nice.
looking to be the only team with both cars in the top 10, it seems.
I think so. That's going to bring an end to qualifying here. Matt Rossi not improving on his time, but getting pole position right beside Jinnit to win it here. Mystic Joker getting beat out going into the second row alongside Maomir. So our usuals up at the top there. Hash, the fastest of our midfield, really, in 5th, as well as Scavney in 6th, having a really good qualifying. Tiash in 7th, Fredhead in his debut in 8th, Yolmir in 9th, and Smithpell, the first of the AlphaTauris, in 10th, and then we'll continue on once the qualifying session finishes up here.
So Helg will be pretty happy with P11 starting on, and his choice of fresh tyres. I believe Scavney told us it would be full dry, so that will be key to his race. But in the relegation battle, we've got JC Blackley 14th, Super Ninas directly behind him 15th, Nicky in 17th, so all of them covered by 4 positions. But really disappointing effort there from Impossible Bacon, having been on the podium a few weeks ago. 19th in qualifying, something that has to have gone wrong for him.
Yeah, not his qualifying, that's true. Monkey Mafia just come.
I've seen it.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Alright, we'll take it away. Why don't you re-go through the top 10? Actually, quickly shout out to Canadian and Matt Rossi coming pole there. But yeah, there you go. Go ahead.
Alright, so as Crash says, it is a Canadian pole position for Matt Rossi in the Renault in Hungary, with Jinnit joining him on the front row. Mystic in a lowly P3. Mayo P4 with Hash and Scavney, Ferrari powered third row of the grid. Tiach and Fredhead on debut in the top 8. Yolmir, Smithpell leading all 4 Honda powered cars, with Helg, Cake and C. Barry right behind him. JC Blackley and Super Ninas, Dace, Nicky, ZGS, Impossible Bacon and Swee at the back of the grid.
Why'd you have to fight that so hard? It's just Dace.
Well, I almost said the wrong thing and remembered I was told what the right thing was.
Okay, good. It sounds like you really had to fight that one. Oh god, that's funny. Alright, yeah, but that's a pretty good qualifying, honestly. That was it was good to see Matt Rossi. He didn't predict what he was gonna do, but he did kind of give us a little bit of foreshadowing on he's a really good driver here, so we'll have to see if maybe he could separate himself. Jinnit to win it as well is going to be tough for him. He might find himself into a little bit of penalty trouble from time to time here. He's a man that really pushes the track limits to its peak, and we'll see if he can keep it steady here. Mystic Joker's just in behind him in 3rd. Now Mystic's not usually one to really make up a bunch of positions. You know, he said that he tries to every now and then, but he seems to be very conservative right out of the gates, and then just kind of lets his pace do the talking in the end. So we'll see if maybe he loses a couple positions early on. That might be tough for him to make those back, and Matt Rossi at that point might be a little bit too far gone, so something to keep our eye out there. As well as the relegation battle, like that's really getting into it now, so we really got to keep an eye on that. But just as well as Mystic Joker's potential record for most race wins in a season, even in a shortened season. We didn't even mention that in regards to the relegation battle, is that this is just a 12-week season, so like some of those mistakes really come back to bite you. If you have one bad week, it can be the difference of you being relegated and not. So
very true.
So it's getting down to some really important racing here for the relegation, as well as the midfield here. And importantly enough, I believe we're going to keep the same drafting order as we did earlier this year, with the top 7 getting to pick. You know how it went with the draft and everything. So I think 7th place is actually really important to get for the drivers' championship as well. So that's as well something to keep our eye on. Is right now Yolmir currently holds 7th place. Tiash is right behind him. So 7th place is actually kind of a sneaky good spot to finish as well. So we'll have to, I don't want to. It's just something as well, right? There's so much going on here, man. There's just like, oh my god. But we're gonna get onto our formation lap. I'll ask you a question in a second here, Jacko. Now, it was a little bit late on the pre-race questions this week, so I didn't get as many answers as I was hoping for. But the first one is, in your opinion, is there anything MidWest is missing or needs to polish? Anything for you there, Jacko? Or you need a second to think about
that's
that
a
one?
tough question.
Oh,
We're just going to keep an eye on ZGS because he just joined. I didn't even see him leave, so
he just left.
we
Yeah, I
might need to
think he
send some
left.
invites.
Yeah.
Go on and I'll send him some invites.
Okay, so
I'll
JC
try to
Blackley
get
is
everyone
saying he doesn't really know anything that the league could improve on. League is pretty sick. Cake Thomas says, only thing I can think of improve would be to try and get more traction on social media and push more content on those fronts. This league is amazing. I'm truly honored to be a part of it. Well, thank you very much. Mailmere says, Midwest is one of the best in the continent. Love the community and the way it's ran. And now that Crash McQueen has created Footy Chat, it's complete. Steve Barry says, right now all the stats we do are manual, but it would be cool if we could get an automated stats system. Not sure if it can be done on console. That's quite the ask. But anything that you could add, or
there's very few things that I would change about the league. Obviously, I think I'd rather it be on a weekend for me, so I can actually compete going forward. I think I might not be even able to commentate, but that's a me thing. That's a selfish wish. Other than that, the only thing I think I would change is the point system. But I think that's well established now, and I think a lot of people like it. So I don't think it's that much of an issue. Other than the fact that P2, I don't think gets enough points compared to everyone around them. It's kind of odd, but that's just me.
All right. So quickly, do you ever try and get your family members or friends to check out the stream or YouTube?
Oh yeah, I don't have to try. They check it out frequently.
Oh, good stuff. Good to hear.
Mm.
Who have you? I think you said your dad once because it was his birthday.
Yeah. My dad watches frequently on the replay, not necessarily live, and my mum has watched from time to time as well.
Ah, cool. JC Blackley says he's gotten his mom and his girlfriend to watch from time to time, and most of them have said yes, they have as well. But if you don't mind, I guess I'll be taking it away because it is Canada Day, so I get the right.
Absolutely.
We've got 5 red lights here at the Hungaroring. We'll see what it can bring us here. They go out. Matt Rosie is going to lead us down into turn 1. We're getting a little bit of weird lobby lag here as everyone's ghosted, but I don't think that's going to stay. But Matt Rose is going to send it around the inside. Mystic Joker's really sending it around the outside on Jinnit to win it, but Jinnit's going to hold off and be able to hold that second place position here. Mayomir is still slightly falling. He's actually getting up on the concrete a little bit and really playing with danger there, but is able to hold it, and unfortunately is losing a little bit of time. Already 6/10 back. Mystic is draped all over Jinnit to win it right now, as well as Jinnit right in behind Matt Rosie. Mystic did hold it pretty well through turn 1 and has done a good job of still staying in 3rd place. But Jackie, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think Mystic almost had it around the outside of turn 1 on the Mercedes of Jin, but he just accelerated on the curb, and that was enough to allow Jin to get a better exit and establish a full car length in front of the Williams driver. So equal start basically for all of them. It was just a bit of a slipstream that Mystic pulled, but yeah, couldn't make any moves work. And in fact, we don't have a lot of moves made at all at this point. Let's have a look at position change.
It's a great
Smith
little battle
3,
going on with Helg and Fredhead,
yeah.
Right now is Helg's now sending it around the inside line of turn 14. These two drivers have been wheel to wheel all the way since turn 12, and Helg is doing a really good job of battling it out on the mediums here. With Fredhead, looks like he's got the straight line pace and is lining up the inside line here, and he's gonna get the move done, pushes Helg out wide, and Helg can't defend much more. But sorry, go ahead with the position changes.
I was just going to say Smith Pell up 3, which is the most. It's equal most now with Supaninas and Sui. Sui off the back of the grid into 17th. But as we were on the formation lap, I did note that everyone outside of the top 10 did start on something other than the soft tyre, probably as predicted. There was a hard, and let me see if I can find out who it
Dace.
was. Dace and Impossible Bacon.
Oh, Impossible, yes.
So we'll have to watch out for them. But unfortunately, the highest one of them is 16th, so they may not figure. Helg currently leading the charge on the medium tyres, as we suggested after qualifying. But Supaninas now well up there with him after a great start.
Yeah, very important that he gets a good start here. Nick Key still holding on his position down in 17th. JC Blackley losing a position. But we're going to have to see how the pit stops really change this race.
Supaninas with a massive slide at the penultimate corner catches it. But he won't be wanting to do that too often because that looked quite hard to catch. and it won't be doing anything in the positive region for his tyres, as Kate Thomas is out, and that's at the last corner. Spun into the inside wall, perhaps. Virtual safety car deployed. Red Bull have lost one of their drivers.
Now they need to work on getting corner cameras in this game now.
They need to work on having a camera available for retired cars. Because we need to see what happened to them. As Scavney gets a severe collision with Hash, and that's a 5-second penalty that he has to serve in his first pit stop. Very unfortunate for Scavney. He was running, well, he certainly qualified his best of the season. I think he's had a 5th though, in terms of results. DRS is enabled as the track goes green once again, and there's some very close action in front of ZGS, who unfortunately disconnected. He should have an invite. I believe I sent him one. Yeah, he's back in, but not under full control of his car yet, as he trails Bacon and Swee.
So Fredhead's really close on the back of Tiash and Yolmir. Tiash losing a couple positions real early, as well as Fredhead here. Yolmir and Smith Pell looking real good off the hop, as you said, moving up a couple positions, and early positions in this race is massive, and we're going to have to see who's going to be the first to blink on the softs. How long do you reckon you could make some softs last year without getting into consistent battling?
We got some serious battling into turn 1, sorry to
Oh,
interrupt,
yeah, no, go ahead.
Tiash went flying down the inside of Yolmir, couldn't pull it up, so Yolmir stays in 8th. I think Smith, Pell and Scavney are having an absolute ding-dong as well. I think I saw them side by side, but it was quite difficult because I was not on board on either of them, but I wouldn't be going through there side by side. Actually, I think Scavney has left end plate damage. Yeah, the Ferrari does not have a left end plate, so that is unfortunate, and that's the reason he's falling back from Hash. In terms of pit stop strategy, I'll be honest with you, Crash, I don't remember. I don't remember. If I was competing, I would obviously look back at previous races or have done the Tuesday practice. So I'm sure these guys know how long these tyres will last, but unfortunately I don't have that information in front of me.
So now Smith Pell's looking for another position here. Scavney locks up coming into turn 13. He's really... Here we go. So Scavney's into the pit, yes. Do you think he's going to throw on some hards and try and make it last out the rest of the race, or mediums for a 2-stopper?
Probably mediums would be my guess. Let's see. No, he's going for hards. I'm not sure if he'll make it to the end, honestly. He serves the 5-second penalty as well. I'd say this is from the contact with Hash, which we saw him get that penalty from, is also the reason he has the damage. So a double blow there for the lead Ferrari. That is very unfortunate season for the team. I don't know how this has happened to the championship winning team from last season.
No.
It's so much bad luck, it's unbelievable. The number
we
of times
claimed that
he's been involved in a collision that was not his fault.
Yeah.
Australia, for example, is just unreal.
We called Ferrari to kind of be our dark horse team too early on.
We did, and that's been an absolute commentator's curse.
Boy, were we wrong. With all due respect to those drivers, but yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Scavney was well inside the top 10 last season, and he's having a very tough season, and Nicky is having a similarly tough season himself. But yeah, the top 3 have broken away from Mayo, who's having a sort of a lonely P4. He's got Hash reasonably close behind, but not within DRS. But it's 1 second between each of the top 3, and Matt Rosie unable to pull away, but then again, with the lead you can't really be unhappy with that, as Fredhead makes an early pit stop. Is that for damage? We'll have to have a look.
Ooh, Yolmir sending a deep, trying to go around the outside of Smith Pell, but just wasn't close enough. And as you mentioned before, Jacko, Game of Jobs has actually come into the chat here, saying good to see some new names battling with the old guard from my day on here. So
hey Jobs, welcome to the stream. So for those who don't know, Game of Jobs also a commentator like us. He is a far better commentator than I have ever been. He was very excitable man. Preferred the shouting approach, which is hilarious sometimes. But yeah, this dates back to F1 2016, and I believe he's an iRacer himself. Yeah.
Wow, there you
Mystic,
go.
Pork Chops, Brian Mosser, HSV, some of the names that might be remembered. Clogmonger, I believe too, may have come under the same commentary. This was from PRL, which was a league that went from F1 2011 or 12 to 2018, so it's defunct now. As Mystic, by the way, overtakes Jin, who's in the pits. Yeah, it was also a North American and Pacific league. I think it had a European branch as well, so it was quite the big league. But yeah, those days are over now. Hopefully MidWest has that sort of longevity ahead of it as well.
No, I mean we've got the right man at the wheel here. With Helg who's going around the inside. Actually, sorry, turns around to the outside here, going through turn 3. He's starting to battle Tiash here, and did get a good camera angle there, but Tiash is able to hold out, coming around turn 3 and into turn 4. We see Tiash fully ahead and getting a little bit of oversteer there, but does a good job of holding it up. And now we've got Super Ninas coming around the inside now, goes for a lovely little switchback and down into turn 6. He's going to force Helg around wide, and 2 cars can't really fit through there, but Helg forces his way through and holds off the Haas, and Super Ninas is getting a little impatient, actually. Wants to get it right
back. The leader
back.
Picks up a penalty.
Oh.
It's Matt Rosie with a 3 second.
Oh, and Yolmir was off there.
Yellow flags. Oh.
Yolmir was off for a second. Actually, Ninas is having a really good race for a man who's in relegation battle. He's picked up 7 positions fairly quietly as well.
Crash, here's the problem that we've got for someone who pits as early as Jin did. Look where he's come out, 16th and in a queue.
Yeah.
So, but look, everyone has to pit. The tyres are going off, so that's in answer to your question. The answer is 9 laps, I'd imagine. Impossible Bacon doing the teammate work and letting Jin through, but it won't be that easy for the rest of the cars in this queue.
Helg is actually pitting on mediums to throw on some hards here.
Huh. Oh, so I've got a difference in strategy here. Oh, Renault's everywhere in Jin's face. Jin's on the...
Jin's going down the inside line to Rosie around turn 2, sorry, and Rosie's actually on the hards. I think you're going to get to that here, but Jinnit has taken what is the lead in the race here.
So where's Mystic in all this? P12 in a bit of clearer air. He might be able to catch up in this phase.
Yeah, but he's got.
He picks up 3 seconds himself in turn 4 exit.
So if you were to tell me that Jinnit to win it would be the only man out of the top drivers we have to not pick up a penalty the first 10 laps, I'd call you a liar. I need to knock on someone here. I can't do it to the guy. I mean, he's having a really good race here. He's got right now is the lead for those who have pitted. So this is exciting. I quickly want to mention here Mystic Joker as well is he's going to have to pass Impossible Bacon, and we know how good of a teammate Impossible Bacon is. So he's going to make it as hard as possible on Mystic Joker to get around him.
Another point is Helg has pitted. Helg was the lead driver on the medium. Why has he pitted?
Yeah, I made a little point about that. He's only went 8 laps on the mediums. I'm not sure why. He might have collected a little bit of damage, but he is all the way back now.
So we had a lot of cars pit there, including the leader at the time, which was Mayo. He's gone to the hard as well. Mystic also on the hard. So the only driver who pitted from the front pack onto something other than the hard was Jin. So perhaps, well, I don't know. It's kind of difficult to tell which strategy is better. I think I like Jin's actually, because he can obviously also go for the fastest lap. It'll be very difficult to defend from him on the DRS straight because he's going to have so much traction. And he's already in front of his rivals. So he needs to get past these guys in front of him as soon as possible, which is a very Jin thing to do. And I think he's got a good chance.
Yeah, he's sitting really well right now, especially with the penalty to Rosie. He's pretty much just got to hold off Rosie here. So he is on the mediums though. I'm not sure I'm sorry if you didn't if you made a point about that, but that could come into play.
There's the penalty.
Fuck's sakes.
You fit in the first 10 laps as well. It's lap 9.
9. Oh, my.
Okay, so let's see. Can he make 1 or 2 moves?
I knocked on wood and everything, man. Oh, here we go. Mystic's going around the outside of Impossible Bacon through the final turn here, and he's going to get alongside him, and we're going to drag down the straight. Both drivers will have DRS, but it's actually... Oh, he tried to... He nearly locked him up into the back of Sui, but Mystic's actually going to get both drivers.
No.
Nikki, oh, that is absolutely massive.
And meanwhile, his rival in the championship for that all-important P17 is Super Ninas, and he's in the lead.
Yeah, very true. But as well, he's also battling JC Blackley. Keep that in mind. Um, not looking good as well.
You said it, I didn't.
Yeah. Not
So I've
looking
just
good.
noticed that Dace, despite being on the older tyres than Jin and the harder tyres than Jin, had incredible straight line speed, and Jin didn't even come close to overtaking. In fact, I think Dace escaped on the run down to turn 1. Obviously, he has DRS himself on the back of the Alfa Romeo, so Jin might need to make this move in a corner.
Maybe we're on the final turn
wide
here.
goes the racing point.
He's going to switch
This
him
is
back.
tough.
Yeah. Oh, a little bit of
See,
oversteer.
Barry
See,
spun out
Barry
in the
spun
same
out.
location as his teammate. Doesn't retire himself though. That is very unfortunate.
The first third of this race has been really good. Ooh, Jin wanted it.
Dace did escape though again. He's got much higher top speed than anyone around him, I think. I think Blackley must have had DRS in order to defend.
Yes, he did.
But he's now outside of that 1 second from Super Ninas, because I believe he would have had the detection on C. Barry. So it might be more difficult for the Alfa Romeo to defend from the racing point this lap.
As well, I just noticed Game of Job's actually left another message here saying, "You're too kind. You guys are doing a fantastic job." Thank you very much, Job's. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks,
Hopefully we can see you back in chat from time to time as well. Thanks for the follow. We're nearly at our 200 follower goal for the end of season 3, so we're just getting there. Only 11 away. We're working. We're working. But yeah, this is a tight battle here. Dace is doing a good job. Jobs is in chat. Dace is on track. He's doing a very good job here. JC Blackley, I think he's actually just holding up this pack, but Super Ninas now has opened up the gap to above a second. Once again, Jinnit getting a little too heavy on throttle, finds himself with a little bit of oversteer. And now Dace is going to put a lot of pressure on JC, lines up the outside line into turn 1. He's going to try and make it stick. JC does a good job of holding it around the inside line.
As well.
Yeah.
That could be key.
And once again, now he's going to take the inside line.
Oh,
and
careful.
Nearly on the concrete there, but now JC does a good job. He's going to line up the inside for turn 3, but Dace just sends it around the outside, and so does
Jin
Jinnit.
follows him.
Oh,
holy hell! Great moves by both gentlemen.
Oh, in one turn, JC loses 2 positions. Now, very importantly, Matt Rosie needs to get a move on here, as he can't let Jin get too far away. I think Jin might be banking on a safety car here.
Well, it depends if these guys... Well, I don't have the tyre data with me, but can the hards go that far? By the way they've chosen to do their strategy, I'd say they probably can. But in what shape? That's what I don't know.
Yeah,
Will they
true.
be quick at the end? Jin seems to... And in fact, Dace and Jin are escaping from the pack behind, so JC may be struggling more than anyone else around him at this stage.
Oh, and JC... Is he going to get DRS? No, I think he just missed out on it, so this is going to be big for Rosie here to try and get ahead of him, like, right now. And he gets a really good run out of the final turn, and he should get easily past him. Now we'll see if Mystic Joker can as well. Mystic is going to as well. JC maybe a little also understanding that this isn't his battle as both drivers go through.
In fact, the top 6 have a decent a margin on P7, so it's probably... He's time trialling at this stage against the other guys on mediums, and he'd rather stay in front of Swee, for example, who I believe I sold short by not mentioning was in PRL himself all those years ago. I'm pretty sure I saw him in there as well.
Yellow flag, T-Ash.
What is that for? Oh no.
And a VSC. Oh, that's going to be weird. Now,
Dace was, I think, briefly overtaken by Jin there, so that must have been readdressed. And I think I saw Dace also run into the back of Super. Did they get penalties for that? I didn't see it pop up.
No, this is going to be huge here. I don't want to jinx anyone, but a drive-through penalty can be just catastrophic at this point, as well as trying to time the end of this VSC can be huge.
If I was Super, I think I might dive in the pits right now.
I think... yeah. For some hards.
Let's see what he does.
No, he stays out.
No? Does anyone pit?
No, the VSC should be ending real quick, so I don't think he's really going to save you that much time. There we go. Yeah. See,
Oh,
so
sweet with the drive-through.
oh,
You
Jinnik
said
gets a
it.
really good run, and yes, Sui with I didn't want to jinx it like I said, but unfortunately I did. And Jinnik's got the inside line, and he's actually gonna dive down into the lead once again. Just get
That
Super
could be the
Ninas.
move of the race.
Yeah, that was
could
really
win him the
good.
race.
Dace
fact,
as
Dace
well getting
follows him.
Super Ninas. Going around the outside, but Super's going to try and battle this one out, getting a little bit of oversteer. That guy just lives on the oversteer in this track, hey? How many times have we seen that?
Doing all this on the hards he started the race on, which is a good effort. Oh, Super with a massive catch there on the exit of 4. Got a bit on the curb. I imagine he would have got a warning for that. But yeah, Dace is being very impressive on this first outing in Division 1.
Now, Super's just, it just seems like he's living on the edge on a lot of these turns. The amount of oversteer he's getting. Matt Rosie is now being slowed up by Super, so maybe those mediums are starting to really fall off. Helg picking up a penalty over half the grid now with the penalty. Matt Rosie's going to dive down the inside line. Oh, nearly overcooks it. Was able to get the car slowed up enough.
Mystic follows him through the opportunistic maneuver there and tries around the outside of the second to last corner. He'll have the inside line. He's got overlap. What's going to happen here on the exit?
He does get him.
Who gets DRS?
I think it's actually going to be Mystic. No, neither.
Neither of them hasn't. What?
I'm not sure if that's an IRL F1 thing where with both drivers are so close to each other on the telemetry, then neither of them get DRS, but I have seen that before where when both drivers come over the DRS detection zone virtually like the same time, then neither of them get DRS. No.
So this is interesting stuff. Mystic is adapting to his surroundings. Like usually he's in the position where he can just escape at the front and not have to worry about too many battles. But in this slightly different situation this week, where he's found himself not necessarily the quickest, he's having to make those moves, you know, in a very opportunistic way, and that was a really good one there, taking advantage of the traffic, as Dace gets himself a 3-second penalty. I think we're going to see almost the whole grid with penalties by the end of this, judging by the way they're going.
Yeah, we normally don't see Mystic in a point of a race like this, where he's kind of forced into shooting some gaps, and it's kind of cool to see the ability that he has in that. I mean, of course, we do see him overtaking, but usually it's a lot cleaner. But now he's really having to kind of get his elbows out to get the job done, and he did a really good job coming around the final 2 turns there of 13 and 14 to get it done. Ooh, want to become famous? No, thank you.
What? Interesting.
It's just, oh, I get them all the time in the Twitch chat. Like, you want to become famous? You want followers?
That's a good sign. It's a sign that the channel's becoming more popular.
Yeah, it's we're getting there.
So into this pits comes Sui, and out he comes to number 21. Running in 16th currently, now on the medium compound. We'll have to see if that gets him to the end. I'm not confident on that one. Wait. Oh, that was his drive-through. My apologies. That was his drive-through. So that's really relegated him to well outside the top 10. That's unfortunate.
So now one thing that has probably led to Dace allowing himself to stay up with the big boys here after being on some very old tires is he's actually got 9 seconds worth of penalties. So he's really pushing the track limits.
But up 14 positions.
Yeah, oh, okay, well there you go. Yeah, it's worth it.
So yet to pit
Ninas finally in, as well as JC Blackley finally in. Yes.
Ninas and Blackley, both of them in the pits. We're also missing stops from Nicky and Sui, but Sui has come through the pit lane, albeit for a drive-through.
Dace is really fighting out Mystic Joker here, actually.
Here. Yeah, it's good to see someone actually defend from Mystic, despite not really being in a race with him. Yeah, that was a decent defensive move, and we've already noted how quick he is in a straight line, so actually might be quite a tough move to make.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to kind of hold your car through clean apexes with obviously a quicker straight line setup through Hungary, I mean, it could work. It'll give you the advantage, definitely down the one main overtaking zone.
I'll tell you, Mystic is definitely aware that it does work around here.
Yeah.
He linked us a race. Well, actually, he mentioned a race, and I linked it the other day, a race around here from about 5 years ago. He called me the Jacko bus.
Oh,
where there was a
my.
massive train behind me.
Oh,
And he
my.
clearly was faster. Oh, it was funny. And Meb was involved as well.
Oh, my, that's funny. Oh, it's too bad that we can't
So,
have him
yeah.
in this league. Just the Thursdays don't work out for him. But here we go. Mystic
Here we
Joker
go.
gets a
Mystic
really
with
good
an easy
run.
move.
Yes.
Dace, I think, might have been deploying in previous laps that time. Didn't have enough to defend. And through goes the championship, well, winning car. Just the hard runners left to pit at this stage, Dace and Impossible Bacon. I wonder what lap they may pit. Perhaps 20 or so if they want to go to the medium compound, or perhaps they're going to take it even further and go to the soft compound and have an attempt at the fastest lap. Difficult to tell.
Oh, so Nikki is only separated by JC by only a couple positions here, but with 15 seconds between himself and JC, it's gonna need a safety car to really bring that gap back down. But the difference in points isn't that much, so salvageable for Nikki. He needs to finish this race with some clean pace and hope that JC isn't able to pick up a couple positions, but right now it's looking good with the lack of penalties that JC is holding. Nina's as well in 12th place, so things aren't looking too hot for Nikki, but they aren't looking lost. There's still a chance. Matt Rosie right now is going to get an overtake on Dace here for 3rd place and goes up into the top 3. The driver that was on pole actually gets up on the inside curb a little bit too much, and that allowed Dace alongside Matt for a moment there, but he's able to pace him out down that second DRS straight there into turn 2. Now the Renault finds himself 1.8 seconds back of Mystic Joker here. Jinnit hasn't been able to pull away as much he was hoping for. Now these mediums are going to start wearing out here. 11 laps deep on these bad boys, so we'll have to see how much farther he can really go on these mediums before a second pit stop is needed. I don't think, you know what, I can't really say. I think he's definitely hoping for a safety car. He was banking on some sort of safety car here.
Yeah, but when he pits, where is he going to come out?
Yes.
He kind of wants to come out in front of Mayama, but I somehow doubt that's going to happen. He needs that gap to expand a bit more. Otherwise he might find himself down as low as 8th or something.
Let's see, so we got 3, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 11 seconds. Fred heads into the pit.
He'd quietly made his way up into the top 5 at that point, hadn't he? He might see himself recover that actually, because a couple of cars still yet to pit in that area, and he'll be coming flying through on, I imagine, another set of mediums. Yep, another set of mediums it is. So this should be the same strategy as Jin, unless he opts to stretch it so that there's a bit of a gap he can fall into, and perhaps go for softs. But we'll have to see how that pans out.
Jin's going to need to run these tires a little bit longer, a couple laps if he can. T-Ash picking up the penalty because he's 12 laps deep right now on the mediums, and if he were to pit, then that'd be 14 full laps on the other mediums, so maybe one more lap he can even it up 13 and 13 if he has a fresh set of mediums waiting for him there. And then that'd be huge for him if there were a safety car, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. I'm not sure. There's a good chance. This is Hungary. It's safety car positive, I guess. There's a lot of safety cars that can go on here in Hungary, so we'll have to see if that can come into play here.
I think we've seen some drivers take mediums 15 or 16 laps, so they're clearly capable of going to the end from here. But I think he needs to make his window work as to where he's going to come out and not have to fight through too much traffic, otherwise it's going to cost him too much time.
Good point, yes.
And obviously you can get more laps out of tyres at the end of the race than you could at the start because of fuel load. So I don't think there's any problem with getting to the end if he came in now, but I think it's just a matter of where he comes out. He's going to be watching that pit rejoin graphic that you get from Jeff and hope that it's going to say 4th.
Ooh, hash down the inside line of turn 2 here. Really Yeah, he does get the move done. Yeah, along down the inside line, sticks it around the outside of turn 3, gets the job done up ahead of Impossible Bacon, who's now ran 20 laps.
Oh, stay off
Ooh,
that curb, Bacon.
Bacon.
I've spun off that one before. I can
Oh,
tell
who
you.
who
It was
hasn't?
not pretty.
If you've purchased this game, you've spun off that curb. I'm surprised that he's able to save it, especially on 20 lap old hards. But well done from Bacon there. Although he is back down in 7th. He's got Smith Pell with some fresher hards in behind him here, so it's going to get pretty tough on Bacon real soon here.
Bacon's going to come out in about 14th when he makes his pit stop here. And then we might see him make some moves. We never know. But both Mercedes require a pit stop, that's for sure.
Yes. Now, they should be safe from each other. Actually, if they accidentally double stack, yeah, won't be any problem there.
As long as they manage to get the actual wheels off the car at Mercedes, they should be fine without cross-threading the nut.
Yeah.
Fastest lap there was set by the Williams of Fredhead on those fresh mediums. Currently running in P10. He's got a few cars directly in front of him, so he might be able to find himself back into top 5. Oh, Hash with a 3-second penalty. That might be costly. He's only just in front of Bacon. Obviously, Bacon has to make a pit stop, but Smith Pell in 8th, currently completely clean with that. No penalties. Sits in a rather good position. Smith Pell, a very quiet midfield dark horse that I think snuck up on some people this season, and he's doing quite well.
Mm-hmm. Find some consistency. Hotspot, I remember last year would say that he would kind of qualify in the middle of the pack, and then it was consistent for him to always pick positions during the race, which helped him move up into Division 1 because of that. So he's kind of as well still doing it here. Right now only 2 positions, but a couple of drivers still need to pit, so he should get those spots back. Fredhead now finding some really good pace here. He's up into 10th, and he's dragging Yulmir down into turn 1. And Yulmir does a good job of trying to hold it around the outside line, but Fredhead's got the tire advantage,
you can
and
tell
now has
Fredhead's
9th,
got
8th.
some pretty good racecraft on him too. He just pushed Yulmir just wide onto that curb so you get the better acceleration. Nothing unfair about it, but you can tell this guy has some experience in the way he battles people. Especially if you brought in my Mystic Joker, you can't be a slouch, I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah, very true. Now Fredhead's just draped all over Smith Pell here.
Yeah, we'd expect him to make a move, perhaps on the front straight with the assistance of DRS. Obviously Smith Pell will have DRS as well, which will help him defend from the back of Bacon's car. But Bacon, he must be coming up onto his pit stop window. There's 11 laps to go at the end of this one.
Is he going to try and make these hards last until softs? Or is he going to go in?
At this stage, I would say probably.
Yeah, or are you going right
Let's
now?
see what he does.
Yeah, no.
Still not going in. So I'd say probably the end of 25. You can make them last 10 laps, particularly at the end of the race, but maybe he wants another safety lap out of it. But here comes Fredhead. No, he doesn't actually. Smith Pell deploying all of a sudden, and they go each side.
Break super
Fredhead,
late.
I'd say, yeah. No, that was really well done actually, because he needed to make this move work.
Oh,
Went a
for
bit
sure.
Sideways on the exit, and wow, very impressive. Double overtake by the Williams driver. And this is exactly what Mystic Joker would have wanted to see from a teammate. Unfortunately, Season 1 champion Kenny unable to attend a lot of these races. But now we've got a second Williams driver, and I think they look pretty good for the Constructors' Championship now with this guy.
Yeah, he's looking real well. And I think Enrique's just jumped into chat, giving Mailmere a cheer. Mailmere's
Sorry
kind
to see you unable to race there, Enrique.
Yeah, that's really
for
unfortunate.
the remaining 2 races?
As well as Go Yule. The LFR guy's pretty much... he's... Now, Yule's actually just in behind Bacon here. He's 15 laps deep on these softs. So, maybe do you think an undercut here for Yolmir and Bacon? Because these guys are directly competing for positions here, as well as Scavney. Scavney should be able to last out Or I mean, I think.
You're almost just going to go blasting past Bacon actually,
Yeah.
and take that position regardless. How long has Yol been on these tyres?
16 laps.
Well, I don't know if he can make them last, so you're probably right. An undercut would be a good option. Probably the end of this lap for softs if you're going to do softs. Well, I imagine that's the only choice really at this stage.
So I think the mediums of Jinnit are starting to fall off here. Mystics actually closed that gap now to 2.25, and seems to be taking time with every turn here. So we might see Jinnit come into the pit real quick.
It really looks like hards is the race tie around here, because if you look at Dace, for example, he's only lost 5 seconds or less to Matt Rosie, and we know that Matt Rosie's quick because he's at pole position, and he's been on those tyres since the start of the race. So Dace, as he makes his way into the pit lane, I think starting on the hards, him and Bacon, that was absolutely the right choice.
Enrique says that he's injured, that's why he's out for this evening.
Well, best of wishes on healing that.
Hopefully you can be back for your final race in Division 1, Enrique. It's sad to see you get relegated. Dace is finally into the pit for some softs. Will he come out ahead of Smith Pell?
No.
No, just barely, but he's right behind him. And on some fresh softs here.
Yolmi is directly next to Dace, but he won't get any traction, I wouldn't imagine, in comparison. No. Yeah, Dace re-establishes himself in P8. Some 9 seconds of penalties to work with though, but he should be able to escape from some of these drivers, and some of them will have to make pit stops as well.
Do you think Scavney's going to pit? He's 20 laps deep on his softs. Impossible's at 25.
Hards on my screen.
Or hards, my apologies, yeah. 20 laps deep on softs, now that'd be something.
I don't think he'll pit.
No,
I think that Bacon will pit only because he has to.
Yes.
Based on the longevity of these tyres. Jin's still travelling. I think it would have been time for him and Bacon to have pit by now. Dace now with 12 seconds. So, this looks in Mystic's favour. Perhaps not really surprisingly.
Now, if we were to get a safety car right now, that
would shake things up.
That would shake things up massively, because
into the pits comes Bacon now.
Okay, so we'll see where Bacon comes out.
And he's got some very crispy tyres at this point.
So Helg has actually been able to pull away from JC Blackley, even though being on the far older tires. Now, where does Bacon come out? He's going to come out. He's going to come out behind JC, but how far back? Will he be able to close that gap on some softs? It is opening up, and I don't think so. I thought it might be a little bit closer. We've seen some back of the pack battling here, as Nicky has actually caught Seabury, and he's going to try and send it around the outside here. Seabury blocks that off, gets DRS, but unfortunately doesn't get a good launch out of the final turn, but Seabury gets a good launch and now has the inside line to ZGS. A couple familiar faces here. ZGS actually a former Red Bull driver of last season, and now Nicky getting a good launch out of turn 1, and he's got the inside line on ZGS, and he's on the curb a little bit, flirting with danger. Jinnit to win is actually into the pit extremely late. Nicky's still battling it out.
That particular curb is not quite as dangerous as the other ones, like turn 5 for example, but still I wouldn't want to be on it. And ZGS flies around the outside of turn 4 and maintains 16th position, and importantly for ZGS, and very impressively, without penalties. So this may come back towards him at the end of the race. He, JC Blackley, Scavney, Smith Pell and Mayhem all keeping it clean thus far in terms of penalties, as Dace sets the fastest lap.
Fredhead just picks up a position on Hash here, as Hash has got 19 old hards there. Dace is sending it around the outside, really making those tires come into play there, as Dace and Fredhead are showing their experience, really, with how long they've been able to hold out these tires.
Around the outside of Yolmir as Yol exits the pits. A soft tyre battle here. Perhaps one of them will get fastest lap, but I imagine that'll be Jin by the end of it, who's come out in 3rd place, which is exactly what he wanted in terms of his pit stop. Probably not happy with the gap that he sees in front of him, but that was inevitable based on the closing speed Mystic had. Yolmir and Impossible Bacon battling it out for 13th and 14th, both lower than I would have anticipated, but they may close in the 11 seconds to JC Blackley in front by the end of the race.
So I think it's R&D Star, or R&D STR, cheering on Mayo, and yes, asking for how many points. You did see that I flashed the penalties for a second there. Jen's still sitting with 3. Um, Maybe I think he needed to pit a little bit sooner if he was going to try and do a proper 2-stopper here. Maybe a little too late. Fredhead and Dace are just having a phenomenal race here. They're really, like I said, showing their experience with just a proper strategy from the midfield there. I don't think things could have gone much better for these two drivers here in their debut, sitting in 5 and 6, now just absolutely hounding Mailmere for 4th, as Mayo is just trying to fight with some 19 old hards, where he's got a couple of drivers who are on some real fresh tires and are trying to make them work, especially Dace here. We'll have to see what he can do.
For Jin. But from Mayo's perspective, all he has to do is keep it clean. He's currently without penalties. These guys have 6 and 12 seconds, I believe, respectively. So if he keeps them at bay for as long as possible, he'll be safe and re-overtake them if they eventually get through.
Dace down the inside.
As Dace does take Fred.
On turn 12 there. Nice
Very
little
aggressive
move.
manoeuvre as Jin sets the fastest lap. And there goes Fredhead. A bit early on the throttle. Spins it at the penultimate turn. And does a nice flick spin as Scavney tries to avoid him. Oh, through the middle goes Super Ninas.
And Fred with some hot tires. Wow, this is really kind of shaking some things up. Super Ninas is having a great race. Let's see here.
Yeah, Super Ninas really making it work for him. He's currently in P8. This is the guy in the relegation battle. And he's going to find himself perhaps even, challenging JC Blackley in the point scheme.
So 8 to 12.
Well, we've got to factor in penalties too.
Yeah.
Super was 6 seconds. We'll see him drop behind Scavney. In fact, JC Blackley's currently clean, and they'll be really close by the end of it. And that's Fredhead losing 2 further positions to Scavney and Helg. So perhaps those tyres still a bit hot. And, we might be seeing some Kenny manoeuvres here, as we've got Bacon facing the wrong way at the turn that we mentioned earlier, turn 5, where we don't want to be on the inside curb, and I'm going to guess that's exactly what's happened to the Mercedes driver.
It's a safe guess. I could say it's definitely a safe guess to presume that that's what happened.
I gotta be honest, Crash. I've spun there on lap 1 and caused a massive pile up.
Oh no!
As Dace overtakes his teammate, and into P4 on track. He's got 12 seconds of penalties though, so he will be shuffled back. But nevertheless, quite the impressive drive, having started towards the back of the grid. How many? He's made 12 places. Currently the hard charger, but I imagine that will end up with Super Ninas again, which that could be very important. Although he has penalties too, so this could be a very changing graphic actually.
Yeah, this graphic's going to fly all over the place.
May still be Dace.
Okay, Jin's taken 7 seconds off of Matt Rosie from the point that he's pitted.
Yeah, but that's a diminishing return. Those tyres will begin to equalise. He may have used a lot of ERS to set the fastest lap. He's also got an extra penalty, so I think that battle may not be as close as we think. We've got to keep an eye on how many warnings these guys have though, because there is exactly a 3-second gap between the lead two, and if Mystic gets another penalty like his brother just did, this might be a lot closer than we think. So I'm going to have a look at the race director. Let's see, Mystic. He has... Okay, he needs 2 more warnings to get a penalty, so probably not that likely. Matt Rosie has, 0 further warnings after his penalty, which was on lap 7. If only he could have kept it that way with 1 less warning, we've had a very close race. But, yeah.
I think Dace is going to have hardest charger locked up here with Super Ninas having 6 seconds worth of penalties. He's going to drop a little bit.
If we add 12 to him, it'll be 38. I mean, there's a lot of drivers down in that bracket, but they also have penalties. So I think you're right. I think Dace will maintain a diminished hard charger.
Still a very good, very great actually debut. from the
Absolutely.
Racing Point represented driver here. Now, what division is he in, or is he just filling in tonight?
I'm not aware, actually, I don't know.
Division.
Towards the back of the grid, it looks like Nicky may actually drop back behind Tiak as well. Sui and Nicky with 9 seconds, and Tiak right behind both of them with only 6. As Nicky makes a move on Sui. Oh, sorry, the other way around. Sui makes a move on Nicky. So things going from bad to worse. So the Ferrari driver, it looks like relegation is going to stare him in the face quite savagely at this point.
Yeah, Fred had going down the inside line of Helg there. Helg holding on to his position. Yolmir and JC Blackley battling it out. Oh, and JC just runs wide and goes right into Yolmir. And Yolmir wants to try and dive down the inside line. I think that was a frustrated move, honestly.
That was so close to being quite the accident there.
Oh, he's going to try and line up the inside line. Is JC going to give him the room? JC does. Yol backs out in the end. Yol is just absolutely all over JC Blackley right here, trying to get that position back.
JC doesn't need to fight this hard. He's got a 3-second advantage in the way of penalties. It's just a bit too risky, in my eyes, for someone who can't afford a DNF, because that could put him in the relegation zone. Anyway, we'll see how it pans out. And JC, ever the fighter, is still in 12th place.
Really scrapping for this position here. And like you said, with no penalties, you can easily allow Yolmir through and then be completely fine. Jin picks up another penalty there.
Fred had by Scavney, albeit with 9 seconds himself. Scavney also one of those drivers without penalties. Only 4 of them. As Yol again side by side with JC at turn 1. We've got a yellow flag. That is...
This is Tiak.
Yeah. Still side by side between the McLaren and the Alfa Romeo. Oh, has he got it now? I think he has. Yeah, in fact, JC does back out of it, lets it happen. It is, I believe, the last lap for these gentlemen, so he should be fine to stay within 3 seconds, you would imagine.
No, I don't think they were lapped, so I think...
Well, it's still the last lap for them anyway. Or is it?
No, Mystic is behind them. Yeah, so Mystic just started lap 35 here as he's in sector 1, so they do have 1 full lap left.
Okay. One thing we have to keep an eye on is the gap between Fredhead and JC, because it's just over 9 seconds and Fredhead has 9 seconds of penalties, but I think he's going faster than the Alfa Romeo at this stage, so he probably will maintain that position, but lose out to at least Scavney, if not... Well, actually, it's quite close between Fred and Helg.
Dace and Hash are actually really tight right here. They're separated by a second for Dace to hold on the position ahead. Smith Pell should move up. But I mean, other than that, it looks like Dace is actually only going to lose 2 spots. So not too bad.
Matt Rosie is closing on the leader, but I think that's just Mystic being, cruising to the line. No real issues to worry about for him. And he's going to come across the line again. Matt Rosie just behind, Mystic slowing up at the end, but yeah, that is another victory for Mystic.
Yellow flag in sector 3. I think Jinnit ran out of gas coming around the final turn there.
Racing points almost in formation, 4th and 5th, but they were going to swap after penalties. Mayo, the first driver without penalties, going to cross the line in 5th and move up to 4th. A great race for the member. That battle between Hash and Dace is going to be close. Dace gets it. Smith Pell actually, out of nowhere, moves up into the top 5. Fantastic result for him. I'm going to go ahead and say I think that's his best result in Division 1. Remember anything?
We have had him on for an interview before. I can't remember where. He did get hardest charger. We'll have to see. But things are looking very bleak for Nicky here. He's going to come over in 19th place, or he's going to come over in 18th, sorry, but with an extra penalty in hand. to T-Ash. T-Ash will get 18th. T-Ash
And
actually
his
having
main
a...
rival is in 9th. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry about TH.
T-Ash actually having a very underwhelming race here tonight. We could
Yeah,
definitely...
you're not wrong. The midfield is so densely packed that, you know, one problem and you're going to find yourself so far back.
Yes, very true. Here we go, so we get Jin, Mystic, Matt, and Dace.
So that is the record for most victories in a season, and in the shortened season, like you said, Mystic eclipses Honda's total. So that's 9, I believe.
So we see France and Singapore to end the season. Things are gonna get dicey there at Paul Ricard. Really starting to run out of time for a couple of these drivers, and as well as Mystic Joker can open up the gap of most wins in a season here. So something to keep our eye on here. But the final order stands as Mystic Joker qualifying 3rd but finishing 1st. Matt Rosie coming over in 2nd after getting pole. Jinnit to win it in a very hard fought 3rd. Maomir in 4th holding his qualifying position. Smith Pell moving up 5 spots up into 5th. Dace going 16th to 6th with our hardest charger. Hash in 7th. Scavney in 8th. Ninas in a huge finish of 9th place. Helg in 10th. Fredhead in a very solid debut in 11th. JC Blackley, a good finish for him in the relegation battle in 12th, and then we see Yulmir, Impossible Bacon, C. Barry, ZGS, Sui, T-Ash, and Nikki, the last of the followers. Cake Thomas, no points for him this evening with the DNF. What's the biggest piece of information that we see from this finishing grid here, there, Mr. Jacko?
The biggest piece of information is Nikki needs to get practicing for the final 2 rounds right now if he needs to stay up. That's yeah. I mean, we already know the championship's sewn up. Williams looked pretty good for the constructors' championship. It's all about the relegation battle now, as well as like the battle for 2nd, 3rd in the drivers' championship. But I think yeah, Super Ninas with a fantastic result for him looks good at this stage.
Looks real good. So how many drivers do we have right now? Did you invite Dace?
I don't have him, but I shall.
Did he say yes?
Let's have a look.
We're gonna have no Jin. Mystic, are you the one that's friends with Dace, or are you friends with Fredhead?
There's Fredhead.
With Fred, no, it's Dace. I'm pretty sure is like Will's friend or something.
What is?
He's Will's friend.
Will's friend.
Willans.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully we can hear an answer from him sometime soon here. Okay. Trying to work on getting the podiums here. Dace has gone to bed as well. Oh, okay.
Well, perhaps we should invite Super Ninas then and talk about his
Alright.
his relegation battle.
There you go, I just messaged him. Should we just invite Will? Just screw it. Why not? Just kind of funny looking at how many people have tags. Like Will's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 tags. Or roles. I think Cake has like 10 or something. 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh no, just 10, just 8. Never mind. Okay, well I guess we'll wait for. We won't wait. Okay,
We'll wait for it. We won't wait.
yeah.
I love it.
No, yeah, whatever. We'll see. Super Nias will join when he's ready, if he is ready. But okay, well, we got the two main guys here, Matt Rosie and Mystic Joker here. Fred had shooting us a follow on Twitch here, so thank you very much, Fred Head. Good race today as well. But Mystic Joker, Hungary, qualifying third. Did you feel like you could have had more? You left a little bit out on the track in your qualifying, or did Matt Rosie and Jinnit Twinit really get the best of you there?
There was definitely more there in quali on both my medium run and my and the softs. I was actually hoping to start on the mediums. Um, yeah, I was hoping to get around like a 14 flat, 14-1, because that's what I was like hitting earlier today with the mediums. So was feeling pretty good. And then unfortunately just couldn't put together a solid lap to go with the mediums, and then I was forced to go onto the softs because I was gonna start I think like P12 or P13. I did not want to do that. So especially around here. And yeah, the lap, my final attempt, my sector 2 and 3 were extremely sloppy. So definitely a little bit more, but I mean, hey, one hell of a lap from Matt and as well from Janet, who get those cars ahead.
Yeah, I mean, those guys put out some really solid times. We're really hinting at what Matt Rosie said last week about how Hungary was one of his more preferred tracks and one of his better tracks. Okay, yeah, sorry. Anything from you, Jack? I'm a little blanked right now for questions, honestly.
Yeah, congratulations once again, Mystic. That's now the most victories in one season. Not equal with Honda. Now you're actually in front, I think, at 9. So congratulations for that. And I think we've seen Game of Jobs in chat today. So any message for him?
Oh wow, yeah, that's crazy. Haven't seen him in forever. I'm pretty sure he remembers me as Forza Alonso. But yeah, it's good to see him in chat if he's still here. Hope he enjoyed the race, and hope he's doing well. And yeah, hopefully he can tune in, every now and again.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's still here, but it was good to see him for the first time in like 5 years.
Yeah, something crazy like that for sure. It's been a long time.
Well, there you go. Some Midwest F1 brings people back together. But anywho, we're going to Circuit de Paul Ricard next week. How do you feel your strength is for France?
A hell of a lot better than here. I'll tell you that. As I keep saying, this is like one of the 3 tracks that I feel I'm really, really bad at, consistency-wise. So now that we're done and over with it, I'm pretty happy. There were a few things that went a little bit in my favor, especially with like traffic and stuff. This race, which kind of helped out, and I mean it's so difficult to overtake on this track. So yeah, but France, definitely looking forward to it, 100%. It's one of those tracks where like real life, obviously besides this race that just happened in real life was pretty awesome, but in real life it's pretty boring, but on the game I actually really enjoy it. So
yeah, I completely agree. It's as kind of Abu Dhabi's kind of like that as well. It's actually not that bad to drive in the game, but in the actually watching the race is actually pretty dry.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? It's a video game. It makes things fun. But anywho, congratulations once again, Mystic. We'll see if you can continue and extend your race wins in a single season next week at France. Quick shout out to Div 2 Podium here with Uncle Ben's Race, Fusalem, as well as Hey Tight Gaming. And I guess I'll give Will Ans a shout out for finishing P4 as well. So good job to those guys. Congratulations, as well as a little piece of information here on an announcement that Pork Chops did tease earlier on, we have another league battle with LFR. A good friend of the Midwest F1 League is LFR. As you can see, a couple of our Division 1 drivers in Mailmere, Enrique, and Yolmir as well. They are all raced in LFR. So a battle on July 22nd. So some more information will be leaked out later on, but just one thing to kind of tease you, as well as we got 2 more things to tease you after another driver interview, and that Jinnit says tell Mystic he's off next Thursday. Okay, so yeah, Jinnit says Mystic, you're done for next Thursday. You're not allowed to race.
Yeah, I'm gonna go buy some plane tickets and take a nice little vacation.
There you go. But
Oh,
here we
so
go.
you're gonna miss Wednesday as well? That's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, too bad. Oh no.
I'll
How
have to pay
sad.
my power bill, and I won't have power. There
you go. All right. Well, anywho, enough with you, Mystic. On to Matt Rosie here. Second place for Matt. Well done today. Did you feel like you had anything that you left on the table to get yourself pole, or was that some of the best that we could see of Matt Rosie at Hungary?
Like my pole lap itself, or my race in general?
Your pole lap is.
Pole lap was not exactly what I was aiming for, but I mean I can't be mad at pole. So I really wanted to get into the 13 zeros, 29 nines. 13 zeros or 12 nines, but I couldn't do it, unfortunately. But I can't go wrong with pole.
Okay. Now, do you think the Montreal Canadiens can bring back a 2-0 deficit going back to the Bell Center, or do you think that this series is lost?
Oh, it's done. It's over. I'm going to say 5 games. Montreal wins 1 in Montreal and then loses the last game in Tampa.
Okay. All right, I'm done. On to you, Jacko.
All right. Well, let's see. My first actual memory of Matt Rosie ever existing was around this track a few months ago in a different league. So that was wet, and you also got pole, Matt. So do you think that you were more suited to the wet, or did you prefer dry, as we had here?
I was telling Stewie the whole way before the race started, I'm praying it's wet because I'm pretty good here in the wet. I mean, I think I was pretty good in the dry too. Just too many mistakes. I couldn't. I mean, hell of a race by Mystic. Congratulations to him. But I think I might have lost this one on my own.
By the penalties? Or the
penalties, I don't know if you guys caught on stream, but I was about 1.6, 1.7 behind Mystic, and then I hit the curb on turn 5 and lost a second. Was slowly gaining time back. Then I had like almost a half spin through the chicane, lost another second, had to drag myself back. And then I got overtaken by Mystic by mixing a braking point, trying to overtake Super Ninas, and he overtook me there. And once he was past me, he had the straight line speed. I knew I was faster in the third sector, but he was running much lower wings than I was, so I knew pretty much once he passed me, it was over for me, unless he got more penalties. Unfortunately.
Mystic learnt from the Jacko bus around Hungary. He knew to have lower wings.
You need low wings. My plan was to lead the whole way or not lead at all, and unfortunately couldn't lead the whole way. But great job by Mystic, great plan by him, well-driven race. And yeah, he deserved the win here.
Now, quickly going to France, how do you feel it compares in strength to Hungary?
Well, much like Mystic, it is a complete opposite to me. I'm not good around France. I love the track, love driving it in the game, but no, I'm not very strong.
All right.
Don't expect to fight for a win.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Maybe you might.
You never know. Maybe
you never know. Exactly that. You never know. So now here we go. Yeah, but once again, congratulations on another podium there, Matt.
Thank you.
I'm assuming we'll be talking at least once more by the end of this season.
Yeah, and shout out to Ginnett as well. Sorry, just shout out to him as well. He had amazing pace. I mean, he would have overtaken me for sure if he wasn't stuck in traffic on that second stint. But GG's to him regardless.
Yeah, it's just the way that plays out. But Jin with another podium as well, finishing third. We normally get to him, but he wants to go to sleep, so no interview for him. But a quick shout out to Pork Chops, or actually, yeah, Pork Chops getting a P3, a Wild Maida in second, and Houdini in first for our D3 podium, and as well as another little tease that I gave you before, is the expansion to Division 5 is real. Expect in Season 4 there to be a 5th division. Right now we are working on bringing in some more guys to help steward. There is so much support from this league from a lot of these drivers, so it's very tough actually just to pick who comes in to help us steward, as so many people offer. But we are working on it to get another stewarding team in here. But Division 5 is real, and expect that in Season 4. So that's something to look forward to. Yeah, I know, another division. But anywho, on to I guess we'll go Dace, then we'll go Super Ninas here. So Dace, in your do you have your share settings on for your voice there, Dace? How is it again? It's in party settings, is it not, Jacko? It's so long since I've had to do it.
Yeah, it is in party settings, I think.
Yeah.
Allow your voice to be shared, always allow.
I got it.
Okay, you're good now? Alright, chat, let us know if you can hear him. As well as chat, there's one more thing that I need to tease. Okay, so stay in after these interviews are over here. But, okay, Dace, you say you're good there?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, quickly, can everyone hear him in the league? Just give me a confirmation or in chat, but I'll ask the question anyways. So, you know, a couple of these guys are used to it now. When I first get into an interview with someone who has just joined the league or I haven't talked to yet, I like to ask them how they found the league and how's their first impressions of it so far. So, how'd you find the league there, Dace? And as well as how's your impressions of it so far?
I found it. Shout out to Mr. Will Ans. I just got invited to a five lappers lobby. Raced around with Mystic Joker and had a lot of fun. So I was interested in coming to see the competition, and I actually had a lot of fun this race.
Yeah, it was very well driven. I mean, couldn't have asked for a better way that it went. You really extended out your first stint and then kind of made up all those positions again in your second stint. Now you kind of qualified. It was about mid-table there. Do you think that you could have qualified a little bit better, seeing how well you did during the race?
Yeah, I did that lap on the mediums. I know I had a mid-13 if I went on the softs. I just invalidated the lap, so I knew there I was just gonna have to take a gamble. Because starting on hards usually isn't my style. I stay away from that.
Okay. Well, it was still a very well fought race. You finished You finished sixth, am I right?
Yeah, fourth on track, sixth after penalties.
Yeah, it was very well done. Now, you were racing with Maomir in the racing point there. Did you guys have any sort of communication through the race, or did you just kind of go out there and do your own thing?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no worries. I mean, yeah, very well done. A solid debut from him. Jack, anything from you?
Yeah, I was just going to echo the same things. You actually took a couple of my questions too, so I've been scrambling to think of a new one.
As per usual.
Yeah, well, great.
Well, I've actually got one more as well. Yeah, I've got,
go ahead then.
Okay, yeah, quickly. So we didn't actually get to the pre-race question of North Pole question. I guess I'll just solo ask it to you, Mr. Dace. Now, are you an iced coffee man or a hot coffee man?
Iced coffee.
There you go. Okay, I'm done. On to you, Jacko.
Exactly the answer you
so random. Yeah, okay. We saw some pretty good moves, by the way, there, Dace. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, there's one
but I was going to say, I did notice. Did you have lower wings, in your opinion, to those around you? Because you seem to be traveling in a straight line.
I run kind of weird setups. I like to run really low front wings and high rear wing. But I was running like 6'11".
Okay, that's interesting because I think the front wing does cause more drag on this game, and it seemed that you were getting away from Jin, at least, who we know is a front runner, on the straight line pace. So Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you've done pretty well. That sounds like a very understeery setup to be making such moves. So congratulations on that.
I used really like a really soft suspension, but yeah. Last thing I wanted to say was I did my very best to hold up Matt Rosie for as many laps as I could.
Oh, is there a rivalry there, or?
No, I was really trying to get up there. I was making that car like 30 foot wide, but yeah.
Hey, we were running the same wing, so
All right.
Oh, really?
matched.
What?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
also
wow.
running 611.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. We have a question from the chat actually, from an unnamed man. Dace, what is your favorite cheese?
Ooh. Jeez.
These are hard-hitting questions here. Sorry, what was that?
What?
Jeez.
I'm a brie man. I love brie cheese.
He's a brie man?
Oh man, like brie. All you have to do is just nuke it for like 20 seconds, and it just melts, and just a little bit of crackers and a little bit of like artichoke dip, like on the brie as well, or some red pepper jelly. Just like, oh. I've actually got brie waiting for me downstairs, so we gotta finish this like real quick.
Sounds like it.
Okay, but once again, well done, Dace. Good job on your first race here. Now on to Division 4 podium. Let me just get it here for a second. I did get it tagged to me. Here we go. So Tiger NASCAR finishing first, JJB in second, and Dead Text Message in third. So well done to all those drivers there in Division 4. And quickly before we get to Super Ninas and the last one, the last teaser is the point structure for Division 5 will be tinkered a little bit to try and, as we do, trying to even out the points and whatnot throughout the league. Will Ans, I love that Dace TG's first impressions to Midwest was being asked about cheese.
I thought you were slightly taking the piss there.
No, that was
Fair
Jinnit.
enough.
Jinnit said that.
Yeah, but you passed it on.
Well, I had to. It's a question from the chat. I'm not going to
I
show the
see.
chat disrespect. If they have a question, I'm going to ask the question. There's a line that I will draw, but a question about cheese, I'm all for. But anywho, as well as Ray quickly says, he likes queso fresco. Okay, there we go. All right, we're done with that. On to
Me,
Super
queso
NES.
fresco.
Queso fresco.
Queso. Who
Queso.
the hell says queso?
Sorry, I'm fucking dude. I'm thinking about brie. All right, no other cheese in the world exists to me right now other than brie. Okay, and
Not
so
even Wensleydale.
Gouda. Ooh, Jenna says Gouda. A nice smoked
Yeah,
Gouda.
I'm with Gouda as
Oh, that's a good cheese. Swiss cheese. That's delicious. Swiss crackers. Those are good. Super Ninas is here. Okay, Ninas. Were you feeling at all pressure? I guess you had to have been feeling the pressure of being in the relegation battle. Are you feeling a lot more confident? Was there anything different that you went into this race? What went so right for you this evening?
Well, after the bar rate of cheese questions, I say it was just me focusing on, once again, all my laps I put into practice and worrying about track limits and the chicane and really just focusing on my pace, just building on my pace, thinking about it, worry about gas between cars, worry about how I'm going to overtake people. And for the pressure question, now I feel like Superman. I feel like all the weight has been lifted off my chest. I can't be any more grateful.
Yeah, it was absolutely a clutch drive all the way through. You picked up some major positions off the race start and then just kept that momentum going. And yeah, had a huge top 10 finish to help you separate that gap. Now you're right alongside JC Blackley. Nikki had a really poor result. You still have to edge out Nikki, but yes, that gap is bigger and you're looking a lot more comfortable. So very well done. Do you find Hungary is one of your stronger tracks?
By like lap 3, I got very used to the track, and now it's like one of my top 6 favorite tracks. to drive for at least. It's a beautiful one to watch in real life, but yeah, it's one of my top 6 tracks now.
That's a weird number to choose, but
listen, all right. I had to pick any number. I picked a number.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Jack, go on to you, my guy.
Well, that is quite the coincidence because Hungary is my 6th favourite track.
Oh my! There you go. Oh, of course,
So,
yeah. I'll see myself
That's obviously
out.
very tasteful. We're talking about cheese, and that's very tasteful as well.
6.
Saying top 6. So yeah, Super Ninas. We've known you as a front-running F2 driver. Obviously, you've dropped that now. Obviously, for the lag reasons. But that gives you more time now to prepare for these Division 1 races, and I think you're looking pretty good. Is that how you feel about it? You can use a bit more time now to practice for these last 2, and you should be safe.
Wow, you embarrassed me. Yeah, I could add this to more practice.
Jacko does that. Jacko doesn't have a, he's That's just you get used to him. You get used to him.
What did I do?
Yeah, yeah.
Insulting me, my fans. Anyway,
What?
yeah, more practice time. Woo, more blessings.
Okay. All right. Okay. I didn't even remember what the question was for Dinas.
Oh, what did I do?
Oh my! All right. Well, Ninas. Anywho, congratulations. Very well done. You got a couple more races left to try and hold off Nikki. So we'll see how it goes. Best of luck for the rest of the season. Do I? You know what? All right, fine. There's a question from chat here, there, Rosie.
Yes.
Okay, so the question is, Matt Rosie, how annoyed were you when you were stuck behind the traffic after the pits?
Oh my god. Probably not as pissed as Jinnit, unfortunately for him, because he was trying to do a 2-stop. But once I saw I had a 3-second gap to Mystic and then it disappeared in 2 laps, yeah, not happy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Oh no, terrible question, because that came from Mystic.
Hey, big fan.
Big fan. What an ass. All right, let's bring it to an end here.
No, but hey, really quick. Hit it. I do want to congratulate Matt Rosie again on an excellent race, excellent quali, and Janet as well. On that podium. Toughest race for sure. It should have been either of those guys' race. Lady Luck just played a little bit in my favor, but yeah.
Well, there you go. What sportsmanship? What sportsmanship? There you go. Oh, Flavius with a follow here. The dying embers of the stream. Thank you very much. 191 followers. Picked up several followers tonight, so we're getting ever so close to 100 followers. 9 followers away. Keep it going. We very much appreciate it. But that is about it for us here in Hungary. I will allow Jacko to give us his final thoughts, and then we'll move forward to France. So, Jacko, take it away. What's left to be said from you?
Oh, not a lot really. I think 10 rounds down out of 12 we're getting to that business end. It's going to be important to see who's relegated and who stays up, and as well as who's the constructors champion and who's second and third in the drivers standings. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the final 2 rounds at obviously a track that we know Mystic's very strong at next week, and then Singapore, which is always fantastic to watch.
Yeah, very good point. Speaking of the the constructors championship, Fred had actually spinning out and losing some positions, might come back to haunt the Williams. So we'll have to see if that truly does. But still, very well done. Good debuts from those 2 drivers. So hopefully we can see a little bit more of them in the future. But like as Jacko said, we are on to France. We'll see what is to come from a couple of our top drivers as well as the midfield. The relegation battle is still very underway. Can Nicky fight himself back out of 18th place, or is he going to be doomed? into Division 2. Not doomed. There's a lot of good racers down there, but is he going to be sent down to Division 2? We'll see. Only one way to see, and that is to tune back in next week, Thursday night, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. If you missed the action tonight, go check it out up on our YouTube channel. It gets posted there every Saturday as well. Go give our Twitter and Instagram page a follow. The guys are doing a very good job over there. Go support that. A lot of stuff gets posted, so a lot of quality stuff as well. So go support that. Check it out. Very much appreciate everyone that does follow the stream and as well as subscribe to the stream. Thank you very much, Tim Lee, for doing so. It all goes back into the league, so without you, then we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do. So have a good rest of your Thursday. I'm going to go downstairs and enjoy myself some brie and a beer. So that's what I'll be doing. Whatever you're doing, enjoy. If you're from Canada, enjoy the rest of your Canada Day. As well as, let's not forget what the tragedies that has happened in Canada and has changed this country to what it is. So don't want to get too far into that, but if you're Canadian, you know what I'm talking about. So be better from it, and we'll work towards the future, and the future is going to be Wednesday in our Formula 2 action. So hopefully we'll be seeing you then, but once again, that is it for us here. I've been Crash McQueen. I've, of course, joined by 4-time/3-time/something time champion El Majacco. We've been the Midwest F1 League. You have a good rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you very soon.